Hey guys, welcome back. It is fake Moonbreon time, and yes, you saw it, you heard it right. I don't know what the title is, I don't know what the thumbnail looks like yet at this point in time, but we have a fake Moonbreon that was purchased by GameStop and resold by GameStop. Now, this particular incident, it seems like it's going to be solved. It seems like it's going to be cleaned up, but the issue is, if you're buying from GameStop, if you're a grandma and you have a grandchild named Little Timmy Jr., and you bought him this Moonbreon, you're a rich granny. You are one rich granny. That's all he wanted in his life. Little Timmy, he just wants a PSA 10 Moonbreon, and he can't tell the difference, and you can't tell the difference because you're a grandma. You don't know Pokemon cards. You're just buying from GameStop. Everything's got to be real from GameStop, right? Well, not in this case. We have a little bit of a situation, a little bit of a predictable situation, if you will. If we go back 7 months ago, wait, where is it? Right here. Dear GameStop, Pokemon card scammers are coming. That they're going to have fake graded cards. Now, some are worse, some are better than others. We have the Zhao stuff, it's really sketchy. If you haven't watched this video, I suggest you go back and do so. Now, a lot of people that have been around the block, that it's not their first rodeo, maybe it's their second, maybe it's their third rodeo, they're going to know straight up right away that this thing is fake. We're going to go through why it's fake. We're going to go through some of those details here today. How to identify the fakes. If you still can't identify them, come into the Discord general chat, and I'll be able to help you out. I forgot to open a tab for the link tree, but you guys, thank you for using the link tree. Discount code's there. Much appreciated. Now, in that very video, I show some of the counterfeit cards. They're obvious to a Pokemon collector. But when you're a GameStop employee, maybe you're into video games. You're probably into video games to some extent if you're at GameStop selling games. Otherwise, you probably just work anywhere else, or you maybe just happen to work there because that was the only option. Now, I mean, you have to get into games a little bit because people are asking you for games all day, every day. I would think that most GameStop employees probably like video games to some extent. Now, counterfeit cards galore, they exist. Thank you very much to Ryan for reaching out to me with this story. He's the one that purchased the fake Umbreon that we're looking at on screen here. And yes, it popped apart pretty easily. Now, even if the label's real, even if the card is real, you need to make sure. If there's an image of the card online, you need to be matching it to make sure that it matches. In this case, it's not going to match. We got a fake card, we got a fake label, we got a fake case. Everything is fake. There were many warning signs here for the GameStop employee and for any other GameStop employees that touch this thing afterwards. So if they're not, like, it's bad enough that they're going to get scammed. They're going to have to track down some idiot that brought this in to try and get some quick dollarinos. But don't put it on the customer. Make sure that this thing is getting verified to some extent beyond the first initial exchange. It's crazy that, like, even the stuff like this, like, it's going to happen. Apparently, you have to leave your, like, name, ID, whatever, in order to sell cards to GameStop, which I think is a smart move. But the thing is, the GameStop needs to, that's their protection for themselves. They need to go beyond that, and they need to protect the end consumer, the person that's buying this card. They should not have to know that this is real. If they're buying it from GameStop, it's bad enough we got all that third-party nonsense on Walmart and everywhere else, where it's like some Sketchdog 69 selling fake Pokemon cards on Walmart. That's dumb enough. Same with Amazon. Shame on all that crap. They're just trying to make some bonerinos on fees and stuff like that. But if you can't tell, we're going to take a look at the case, the label. The labels are always wrong. We'll take a look at you guys let me know in the comments. Guess down below what if you scan this barcode here, it should give you this 941400003, and it does not. It's a different card. So you just let me know. You guess. Now, on the GameStop, you're thinking, Rattle, people should be able to tell on the GameStop website. They got scans on there. They're gonna show you the scans. Well, the scans on the website are just the lifted from PSA. We have the front and back photos of the real card. So another problem here, they should have been able to look this up and say, hey, this is not the same thing. If you have employees, they should be able to identify fakes, like blatant counterfeits and stuff like that. Now, the PSA cert is not deactivated. Typically, when a bunch of fakes of something get made, they deactivate the cert. I still think the PSA should, if they want to do what's best for the consumer, what's best for the person that owns the card, yes, offer to reslab it for free and put a new cert number on it if somebody has one that's been heavily counterfeited, but also put something on the website here, like show what the fake ones look like, show what the real one looks like, then make a new cert, I guess, if you want to go through that. So you can see what the real one looks like here. This is the real one that it is trying to imitate. Apologies to the person that owns the real one. That thing is pretty off center, considering I got the 10. Apologies for that as well. With these cards, it's pretty tough to tell centering. I don't know if how the grading companies train their employees, but I usually just look at any of these exposed borders. You can see here the bottom is a lot thinner than the top here, and then this area of the border is a lot thicker than this one here on the front. I mean, the back is pretty standard. It's pretty thick on the right hand side. Now, whether or not that's enough to make it not a 10, that is up for debate. That is up to you guys. And yes, you're saying, Rattle, is there motivation? There's definitely motivation. We got a $1,400 Moonbreon. I think that's crazy. I think it's absolutely nuts. Yes, it took me 3,711 packs to open this stupid thing. I'm sorry, Moonbreon. I didn't mean to call you stupid. It's very hard to pull. Evolving Skies is very, very popular, very expensive. It would be expensive to open one of these. In this day and age. I mean, it was expensive back then if you were buying booster boxes or something like that. Loose packs a little bit more available. TCG Player, you cleaned up the Japanese cards are now a separate section. Can you please make a separate section for all this, like Chinese and all these other languages? Please and thank you. It's an absolute pain in the ass to scroll by all of these in order to find out that I got to spend $1,400 or close to it in order to get a Moonbreon without seeing pictures of it. Typically, yeah, no pictures here, but that's what it is. That is what it is. And if we look on the old eBay, I think Z&G sold one for $2,000 US. The PSA 10. Be careful if you're buying on there. Be careful whatever you're buying, whatever you're doing, whatever you're. And I get this all the time. People DM me constantly. They're like, "Hey, Rattle, is this real? Is this fake?" No, I can't answer those. I have too many of those DMs. I have too many DMs in general. But if you come into the Discord and you put it in general chat and you give it an honest effort, now I'm going to push you to be able to do it yourself. That's kind of what it comes down to. But if you go on, if you hit the old Google, find known real copies that are being sold by people that are reputable. Find like the graded copies that are on here, preferably not the fake graded copies that are on here, and you'll be a-okay. There's going to be some good ones, or find some reputable sellers and they'll have copies. Or you can look at like the PSA cert number as well. But typically, you're going to want to see with these modern cards, with the texture all over them, you're going to want to look at the texture itself. So if we give it a little zoom, you can see here how the texture is supposed to be. And if we go way back to the original card here, you can see just immediately, if you've seen this card in person before, if you know what the texture looks like whatsoever, it's wrong here. It's going to be wrong. The print is going to be wrong. It's going to be crappy quality print. And the texture stuff is going to be going in the wrong direction. So this is not a great picture, but it is it's a little bit hard on the Moonbreon to capture the texture pattern. So here's a better example, a more in focus, more high definition example. Certain stuff, certain aspects, all your text is going to be super crisp, super clean. Make sure your curves and your curves are going in the right direction. Now the texture can be shifted. That is an error of sorts. It doesn't happen very often. There's a very good chance that if you're seeing the wrong patterns and stuff like that, if it isn't just like the outline of the Moonbreon, shifted over to the left, to the right, up, down, whatever it might be, or some combination of that, it's just a counterfeit card. So be careful out there with that stuff. Now, we've seen it before. We got this YouTube account, Sinbad Comics and Cards, who made this post warning fake Moonbreon slabs spotted. I'm not gonna play the video. It's basically just the image here with some like some siren noises. Yes, it's a very common fake version of the Moonbreon. We can see here on the Reddit, we have eBay PSA 10 Moonbreon. Seller says it might be fake. Help. Yeah, it's very fake. Super fake. Same one, same cert. So what they do is they find a real example with a cert number that exists. So then when you look it up, if you can't tell the difference, you get duped. So hopefully the font's wrong. Yeah, there's a lot wrong with the case itself. Let's see what we got here. Yes, I did verify with Ryan that he made the purchase. He has the receipt here and has indicated that this is the card that he received. We're going to take a look at it right now. Now, If you're a graded card collector, that does not mean you can just throw your arms up in the air and be like, oh, everything I own is real. Everything I'm going to buy, everything I ever will buy is real. It's graded, so it's got to be real. It's not. That's dangerous. That's dangerous thinking. You need to, if you're buying expensive cards, especially if they're expensive for you, whatever that dollar value might be, you need to know whether or not it's fake. You need to know how to tell whether it's fake or not, whether it's damaged or not, what is going on with it. And if you can't tell that this is fake, you should not be buying a $1,400, $1,000 to $1,400 Moonbreon. Don't do it. I mean, in this case, I guess it's more like a $2,000 Moonbreon. It was a great deal if it was real. Unfortunately, it was not. I didn't see when the purchase itself was made. December 20th. So yeah, that would have been an absolute steal of a deal. On December 15th, it'd be some free tendies right there. There'd be a little bit of savings going on. The savings is that it saves you from having to own a real card. Now, down on the bottom, you're gonna have those like the 21. And then you're going to have the PSA logo. Those are clearly wrong on the slab. But also, if we give it a zoom in, now it'd be better if we had a black background here. But if you look in the corners, let me get out of the way here a little bit. Let me get over here. In the corners, they're not crisp and clean. We got a weird little ledgy thing going on here. The ledges are a little bit messed up. Now, some examples of this, there's no little nipple. There's a little nipple usually on the bottom. These little divider things, the texture, the hologram. The hologram is just like a shitty version of the hologram, and that's without looking at the card itself. Like for some reason they have like the Moonbreon VMAX is like embossed, like it's like sticking out. I don't know if the rest of the card is like pressed down around it. Not sure what's going on. The texture is clearly wrong. It's like overly pronounced and it's overly wrong. In terms of the card itself, the label, the font is usually wrong. The spacing is wrong. The barcode here. We're gonna stay tuned. We're gonna find out what the card is actually supposed to be. Another card that they counterfeited, certainly, that hasn't been deactivated for some reason. All right, we got the sprinkle sparkle on the PSA. Again, if you take a black light to the label, you can also see PSA logos and stuff like that, the little security features, and such that you would think that if GameStop is receiving this stuff in excess, it's in excess of $1,000 card, they would be doing these checks, like double check before you sell this stuff. Even if the employee was busy and got screwed and got bamboozled, got duped, if you will, if you're a certain dude from BBCE who did not receive a motorcycle, then just you can get duped here. On the back here, we got this funky weird PSA logo again. I didn't scan the QR code here. But we have the PSA logo is like embossed for some reason. It's not supposed to be. I didn't scan the back one, but I assume it's the same. I assume this is the same barcode as the front, which does not match the 941400003. It's funny. If you guys ever see people that are trying to block out the cert, but they don't block out the barcode on the other side, the barcode is the number. If you can get an app on your phone or anything that scans barcodes, and you can scan this, and it should give you the number on the other side. So I guess that would have been a dead giveaway. They probably could have scanned that. If we take a look at the back of the card, now the back of the card is usually the best place. If the back of the card is fake, the whole card is fake. Now, do not just bank on the fact that the back of the card is fake or the back of the card is real, so the front of the card's got to be real. People have printed, they put stickers over, or they print onto real backs to make it look like a real card. Little pro tip here. So if we zoom in, we can see that the pattern within the Pokemon stuff is not real. I mean, the overall look of the back is concerning. When this stuff doesn't kind of have its own distinct blues and kind of stand out from each other, it's kind of washed out, kind of that look. It's a bad time. The black going around the letters here, going around the P, the O, this should be like super crisp and one layer. It shouldn't be like dotty or wiggly diggly. And then we got the pee-hole test. You guys know the pee-hole test. Here's the pee-hole test. This is what it should look like. This is what the print should look like. The back has never changed in English. They are having, always will be. I don't know if I can say always will be. They might change the back at some point in time. But this is what you should be looking for. You get this nice kind of crosshatch little pattern. This little checker pattern in here. If this is different than that, you are in trouble. Now, there can be print errors and stuff like that. You can see here the lines, the dots going down here. Usually the fake cards, they do not have the original files. They do not have the original equipment that was required to print this. So what they do is they take a scan of it, which can look pretty good at a distance. But when you zoom in, when you take a closer look at it, you start getting weird artifacts on stuff that should be solid lines, like the black lines here. If those aren't solid, like they are on the one that we're looking at here, this is a real card. Then you're in trouble. But this is the best way. This is what I go to. And people are like, why is it only the P hole? It's not only the P. You can look anywhere on the card that you want to. The P hole is just funny. It's a meme. And it's a good way to explain to somebody, hey, you can check your cards and take a look. But again, PSA slabs, they've changed. The labels have changed. The cases have changed. They've been around for a long time. So you got to be looking up. Try to find a cert that's close to that if you're trying to compare the cases. But in general, the case itself, here we go. Here's a good example. I mean, outside of the embossed thing. So usually the cases, there's a lot of areas that have crisp and clean lines, like this corner right here, right in here, right here. This should be a nice 90-degree angle, and it's not. It's a swervy-wervy. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the counterfeiters have acquired fake cases, or real cases rather, and they make a fake case based on that. So when they take a mold of the real case, it kind of doesn't have those perfect features, perfect angles, perfect corners. So you end up with this rounded crap. You end up with some other stuff that's a little bit weird. Sometimes stuff is out of place, and that's largely to do with they just made the case from scratch. There's differences. But if the differences are there from the card that you can look up, from the card that you can take a look at, that's where there are issues. So the Moonbreon, I don't know how much we need to go into the Moonbreon. This thing is very fake to the trained eye. If you take a look at known real examples, and a lot of the graded examples that you take a look at, you're not going to see the texture all that much. But still, this is dangerous. This is dangerous for GameStop customers, unsavvy customers that think they're buying something that's graded. So it's legitimate because it's graded, and it's legitimate because it's sold by GameStop. GameStop's not going to sell me a fake Moonbreon. Why would they do that? How many other fake cards have they sold? How many have people purchased and they don't realize? And maybe years pass and then they can't get their money back. They get screwed. Or that's this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and this thing is 20 grand or some stupid amount. And are they getting their 20 grand? Or did they just, waste their $1,000, never get that $1,000 back? Or even if they get the $1,000 back, they tied their money up for years and were holding on to a fake card. Pretty gross. Pretty gross. So here's the side-by-side example. This is what should have been available, was available to the GameStop employee, both the GameStop employee that purchased it from the customer, and hopefully this customer gets in some pretty deep water. I'm sure GameStop is in touch with, if they had this partnership with PSA where they can grade stuff and where they can buy and sell PSA cards, where they can use their scans. Surely they can get in touch, and hopefully we got some dicking going down. I don't know if GameStop will take action, but PSA has and most certainly will. But here you can see like the frosting. Yes, there's different color backgrounds. We got white on the fake one. We got the real deal. But like if you have these side by side, if you have these available to you, you should realize pretty quick. Another thing that you can do if you're worried about the card being swapped out with a fake case, you look for differences in the case itself. The frosting is usually always wrong. It's always a little bit off. We got the PSA logos and stuff like that in the wrong position. The differences, the gaps between here, the little nubbins, where it like slots together, those are usually a little bit more pronounced on the fake stuff. And more and more and more. So, and the hologram. The hologram is a thing. But don't rely on just the label, because if somebody has a 10, let's say they have this Moonbreon on the right-hand side here. They have the real deal. They have the real thing. They're not faking it. They crack this bad boy out because they know it's going to get a 10 again. They put something that's more like a 9 inside the case because it's worth a whole lot less. They put the real label. They get a fake case. They take out the label. They take out the 10. they resubmit the 10 to PSA to get another 10, and get another 10, and put in a 9 with the real label, fake case, real card. But if you don't look it up, if you don't compare, so that's where centering and damage and stuff like that, make sure it matches the card in question. If you're purchasing it, make sure the case matches. And with the newer certs, like these 9 certs here, I think with anything that has a Moonbreon, now older stuff might not have pictures online, so you might have to do a little bit of digging. You might have to Google the cert number and see if there are previous sales where people posted the card to try and get an image of it, to try and match it up to make sure it's the same thing. So there's a lot you can do. It's complex. It's a pain in the ass. There are people out there that are gonna scam you. They are gonna scam you. All right, so this is what the barcode scans as, and to no surprise, it seems like the counterfeiters that are counterfeiting this one, they were too lazy to change the barcode on it, and they just had 791-70301, which is a silver second tournament, the old trophy Pikachu. So they were counterfeiting a trophy Pikachu as well at some point in time, which is interesting stuff. Now these guys, yes, depending on where they are, depending on what they're doing, you can get in a lot of shit. You're going to get a whole slap on the wrist, because not only are you at danger of pissing off the Pokemon company, but you're also pissing off PSA, because this is extra work. This is extra money that they have to spend to deactivate certs, to have people resubmit stuff. It also looks bad on them if there's fake versions of their stuff floating around. So yes, they're going to come after you if you're selling this stuff, if you're making it especially. And we can take a look here on the old AliExpress, the old janky Express. I don't want notifications. Screw off. So we have the exact same Moonbreon here. They're covering up the cert number. There's the 7, there's the 4, and we get the Bulbasaur's kind of covering up, and the barcode and the janky ass. I guess they're covering the PSA logo, because they don't want PSA to take action against them. But guess what? When people receive this stuff, if they test it, if they know where this is coming from, it's a big old, they're in trouble. So how much was this? $43. So someone spent $43 on this thing, brought it to GameStop, and maybe they paid $500 for it. That's what we're dealing with here. Hopefully some action can be taken against the individual that has been doing this to GameStop. Hopefully action gets taken against the people that are producing this stuff. Guys, this fake stuff, there's people that like to argue like, oh yeah, but I want a fake booster box. I want a fake Moonbreon or whatever. You don't need a fake one. You do not need to own every card in the world. No one does. No one will. Just accept it. Get a lesser condition copy. Get a raw copy. Save up for a raw copy. Yes, a $1,400 Moonbreon is stupid expensive, but it's something that, if it's something that you feel like you need it so bad that you're going to buy a fake version of it, just save up the money. If that's like your lifelong dream and goal, yes, you can do it. I don't care who you are. You can save up $1,400. Kind of what it comes down to. So it's absolute BS. And the thing is, people are going to get ripped off with this shit. Even if one person's intention isn't to fuck other people. Oh, we got a different fake one. We got the 7 on the end. So we got 2 different fake ones here. So yes, regardless, there's no one fake copy of any individual card. It can be different, but you can see here too, it's just the texture is wrong. Oh, this is the Japanese one. We got a fake Japanese one. And I would imagine that that cert number matches up with a fake Japanese card. So it's weird that they probably should have just went with the Japanese texture on there, but maybe they couldn't, maybe they didn't. I don't know what they're doing. It's absolute dog shit that this stuff exists, but that's what you deal with when cards are worth money. You're going to get G-Baller 69s trying to make a quick buck, and hopefully they get absolutely smacked for this shit. Hopefully no one else out there. If you're buying anything from GameStop, be careful. If you're buying anything from anywhere, regardless of whether it's graded, regardless of whatever it is, make sure you take the time, take a look at and learn what you're doing. Disappointing. I mean, we saw it coming, but it's disappointing regardless. Thanks for using the link tree. We got the discount codes on there, the affiliate links. Best way to support the channel is through that. Don't send me money. I'd rather you get something that you want, get something legitimate, something that's useful to you, that's going to help you on your collecting journey, and support the channel by either saving money with a discount code or clicking an affiliate link to support it no additional cost to yourself. Truly appreciate it. What we got Trollin' Toad, Securas, Card Trader, Card Market, Collector, if you're tracking your collection or you're trying to price stuff out. But be careful out there. There's always swindlers that are trying to swindle. We gotta do our best here to crack down on this. I hope PSA absolutely butchers the person that's selling this stuff, and that GameStop and PSA have some kind of system or some kind of action that they can take against people that are dropping off fake cards, because it's not acceptable. Fuck off with the grifting. Just go, like, the amount of time and effort and risk you're putting in place here. So they're gonna trace it back to you. Put more in place here, GameStop. You can do it. I believe in you. Make sure that you got photos, you got photo ID, you got maybe even a picture of the person that's dropping this shit off. That kind of thing. Make it bulletproof. Make sure you can crack down on whoever's dropping off fake shit, because it's gonna fuck your customers, and it's gonna look bad on you. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye.